So do you have what it takes to solve a 9-move checkmate exercise? How about 7 move? How about 5? How about 3? Well, that's exactly what this lesson is for. We're going to start with 1 move checkmate, then 2 move, 3 move, all the way to 9 move checkmate exercise. And guys, mainly I want to know what your limitations are when it comes to calculation, and based on that information we're going to direct the remaining of our course. Of course, I'm going to be talking out loud as I solve them, because the other thing that I want you to get from this video is to see how I think about it. So with that said, this is made in 9. I'm going to leave it for the end, and we're going to start with checkmate in 1. Always pause the video if you want to work on it. Also, if you don't want to hear me talk, you can of course skip ahead. I created chapters for you to navigate through the video easily. So with that said, this is the checkmate in 1. The first thing that comes to my mind, I see a king that is surrounded by my pieces. I need to look at checks, captures, and threats. If I already know it's checkmate in 1, easy, one of those checks has to be checkmate. But if I'm in a real game, something tells me there has to be something here. So I look at my checks. Now, notice that the black pieces are coming this way, very important. So my pawn could be helping me out. I could even use it for check on the king. So I'm going to quickly look at check, 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 and see which of those is checkmate. Now this one easy to disregard. They take me. This one king goes to a2. So it's gonna be either b4 or bishop. Now b4, of course, the king goes to a4. That leaves me with bishop b4 checkmate. Maybe some of you went straight to bishop b4 because you just saw it. Some of us could use the process of elimination. If no other check works, well, it's going to be bishop b4. But for me, I realized, guys, that the king just cannot go anywhere thanks to the rook and the pawn. So I want to keep those in place. That leaves me with the bishop to deliver checkmate. So there we go. Bishop b4. This one is out of the picture. We go to the next one, which should be checkmate in 2. So this one is black pieces to move. Same thing. I look at the pieces that are surrounding that king. That king is pretty exposed, and I'm going to start looking at my checks. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, my brain automatically sort of disregards knight g5. I'm going to be captured, but I need to push through, guys. Sometimes moves that seem counterintuitive, they happen to be the move, so we have to consider them. So I'm going to start with the most obvious ones. Rooks. So if I go check, king could go to e3. Then I don't have any more checks other than with this rook, and the king keeps going away. So that's not going to be checkmate in 2. If I used the other rook, the same thing. This one, easy to disregard. There's nothing else after. Knights, well, I'm going to take. The moment you take again for the second check, I could escape. So it looks like none of the checks are going to cut it, and I think I just got the idea. Guys, in the other exercise, I was thinking, well, I like the fact that rook and pawn are keeping the king unable to move anywhere. Well, here, what if I could do rook e2? It's not a check, but no matter what, I'm going to do checkmate on the next move. Of course, automatically, my brain is telling me, make sure your opponent doesn't have any checks, any in-between moves, any ways to stop rook f2. So I gotta do it in my head first. So I imagine the rook coming to e2. I need to update that image in my head. I need to now look at a board where I have the rook on e2. Now, what could the white pieces do to stop me from going rook g to f2? Well, there's nothing, but I need to consider, what if I'm black? What would I do? Well, what if I just push the pawn up? Because now I know they want to do rook g to f2, but then I'm going to have this escape square. So I need to consider it, guys. Now, of course, after rook e2, if g4, pawn takes, that's checkmate as well. But we need to consider it. Many times we're doing tactics and we go like, it should be this one. Let me just do it and then see what happens. We gotta get really good at calculating everything as accurately as we can. Then we play it out. So anyways, here we go rook e2, and then I'm ready to deliver checkmate. If they go here, checkmate as well. So far, we don't have to visualize too much. Here, white pieces to move. Remember, feel free to pause the video. Take as long as you need. I tend to give myself 4 to 5 minutes. So let's see how this goes. So to me, I'm looking at the checks. Again, this king is a little bit weird on d7. I have my queen close by, my pawn, my knight, and I even have my bishop. So with that in mind, let me see, can my queen get any closer? Not safely, at least. My pawn, well, the king just hides in front of the pawn. Knight f6, doesn't look like it. King e7, what's the follow-up? So that's gonna leave me with bishop h3, or I just realized bishop b5. Now, if bishop b5, only move is to play c6 or to go to e7. Now, if they go to e7, I already realized I could go queen f6. And then bishop is cutting off the diagonal, check, pawn is defending. If bishop b5, c6, well, of course I take. Only move is to go to e7, and then is queen f6. So guys, this one looks like it. Of course, if I'm playing a game in a tournament, I see this, I get excited. I don't want to get ahead of myself and just play it unless I'm low on time. So what do? I do it all over in my head again. Sometimes I even stand up, go get some water, look at it again. I don't want to make any silly mistakes. But here, it makes sense. If you cannot find this because it's not so easy for you yet, at least try to visualize the answer right now. So imagine the bishop going to b5, then king goes to e7, we go queen f6. Hitting that king, the bishop is cutting him off. Try to update that image in your head. The other variation is bishop b5, then c6, queen takes it, and don't forget, since they played c6 and my queen is now on c6, I control all of this. So they have to go to e7, and then queen f6, checkmate. Okay, so now we have checkmate in 4. Yeah, this is the one when I was setting it up, the first move I think came to mind. And guys, if you post the video already and you found it, congrats. To me, this one is interesting because I keep telling you, look at the checks, captures. But here, I think I've seen this pattern before, and the move bishop g5 just came to mind instantly. So I started with that one. It's forcing. They have the option to take me or go king h5. I'm going to start one at a time. So if bishop g5 and the king takes me, I update that in my head. I see the king now on g5. Well, I have a very easy pattern. Check. They have to go to h5 and then queen h4 checkmate. Nice. Now, what if after bishop g5, they do not capture? What if they just go king h5? Well, I have check. They could go to g4 or take the bishop. Doesn't matter. I take on h4 and I take on f4. And that is checkmate. So up to this point, we know that you either find it because you get really good at detecting the checks and then you calculate, or if you've done enough tactics training, the patterns are just going to stand out for you and you're going to go from there, right? That's what happened to me in this case. So check, this would be check and then mate. And then finally, if bishop g5, they go up, I have check, they go here, check, and this is mate. And then finally, if they had taken the bishop, I go check, and then checkmate. By the way, guys, those little effects, I had it with one of my students and I forgot to remove it. Now it's too late in the video, so bear with me. I know it could be annoying to some of you, but bear with me. Next one is already checkmate in 5 moves. I know for me, I'm gonna have to spend some time and calculate, so I'm gonna give myself 4 or 5 minutes. If I don't find it, then I'm going to just look at the answer and I see what I missed. I look at a pattern that maybe I need to learn, so I get it from here. And ultimately, I look at, as I review the answer, I try to do it in my head without moving the pieces. I need that practice. With that said, let me give it an attempt. If I cannot find it, then I'll take my time to calculate. But instantly, I'm looking at my checks. So I see my rook is cutting off the king, my knight is controlling f7, my queen is controlling g8, so the king cannot go anywhere. If I could just put it in check with another piece, this would be completely winning. Like maybe something like rook d8, right? Now, I look at my checks, queen g8. I like that idea of decoying the king to g8 and maybe some checkmate ideas, but it doesn't seem like it. I look at rook e8 and then I go check, I don't know, maybe, but now I see queen f8. And then all the checks that I have are taking the bishop, queen h8, or knight e6. Knight e6, they take me, I don't think this is it. Queen g7, I lose my most powerful piece. This check doesn't work. Rook e7 doesn't work either. Easy to remove those. And this one, the same thing. So it's going to be either rook e8 or queen g8. Of course, it could be a move that is not a check, but I doubt it, guys, because then my opponent could just bring pieces to defend. It could start attacking me. So this has to be check all the way. Now, I'm going to start calculating the main 2 candidate moves. I'm going to start with the one that seems the easiest or the most straightforward. And I think I'm going to go queen g8, right? So queen g8, king takes, only move, rook goes to e8, bishop f8, and I just don't see the follow-up. Now, what if I go instead rook e8, king has to take, only move, then queen g8. If they block with the queen, I have rook e1 check, then king goes to d8, knight f7. So that variation doesn't look like it either. So now that I already looked at my checks, my captures, I'm going to look at checkmate threat. So a move that maybe creates a threat of checkmate on the following move. And I'm already thinking, okay, what if these two could work together? Because I'm looking at queen g6, hitting them through the light squares, and also I'm threatening rook e8. So this one looks very promising. And notice that it was not a candidate move that initially came up, but now I'm thinking of it, right? So queen g6, threatening mate, threatening checkmate. So now maybe this is checkmate in 5 because they could do a few things to delay the checkmate. So queen g6, they could go here. I guess I can always take with check. So that'll be my second move. If they go here, that's mate. If they go here, that'll be check. That's my third move. They go up. Then fourth move, that'll be checkmate. Actually, don't forget the knight is pinned by this rook. So what if 1, 2, 3, if instead of going up, they go here, then I have what do I have? Oh, 4. And they have to go here, and then this is checkmate. Notice that I have to go here because I want to do checkmate on e7 since the knight is pinned, but the queen is looking at it. So I'm looking at queen g6, knight e6, check, they go down, then knight c5. Oh no, but they could block. I just take. So maybe this is the move. And guys, I know that a lot of us might be like, okay, but with that line that you're calculating already seems like we're ahead. Let's give it a try. Let's play it out. Nope. We gotta calculate. It has to be checkmate in 5. We know that much. We gotta find the best move. We gotta train ourselves to look for the best. Okay, so let me do it one more time. Queen g6, bishop e6. We take with check. King e7, queen g7. King e8, we already know this variation. If they go back, knight c7, king d8. This is not check. I don't have any check. Ooh! Rook e8, and that's checkmate. Again, we have to really push ourselves to visualize the whole thing, guys. Now, there's only one line that I have at the back of my mind, which is after queen g6, what if queen e7, right? And I'm thinking, we just take? Do we just take? Or knight h7? Okay, so queen g6, queen e7, knight h7, king g8. I mean, I'll be happy already if I just get that queen. But since it said checkmate in 5, guys, it has to be checkmate in 5. I'm gonna take a look. I'm pretty sure we've already spent more than 5 minutes here. But you see, at least I calculated, I visualized. If you want to go on for another 5, 10, 15 minutes, completely up to you. Now, let me take a look at the answer. So that one we got under control. Let's see what the engine says against queen e7. Okay, this one we said this is checkmate. Perfect. And if the king goes down, check. And then, of course, beautiful checkmate. And then finally, what if after queen g6, queen e7? What was I missing? Okay, knight g7, king g8, and just take. Look at this, and then and then this is just another beautiful checkmate. Now we're gonna go to the next one, which is mate in 6, and let me just check. Evaluation says Okay, mate in 6 for black. So let me flip the board. And here we go. So black to move, checkmate in 6 moves. Feel free to pause the video and give yourself 4 or 5 minutes more if you need to. So I'm gonna be looking at the checks first. I have, okay, this one is easier because I have less checks, right? Then these two are pointless. Queen e5, g3. So it has to be bishop e5. I'm gonna start with bishop e5, guys. This is the easiest to calculate. If that one doesn't work, well, then I'll see. So bishop e5, f4 doesn't change anything. They have to play g3 or go up. Bishop e5, g3. I think this is pretty easy. This is check, and then mate. And of course, bishop e5, g3, check if they go down. Oh, if they go down. Okay, no, wait. So if bishop e5, g3, queen f2, if they go up, mate. If bishop e5, g3, queen f2, they go down, then I got queen f1 check, king goes up, and then rook d2. Only move is to block, we take, and that's already done. So if bishop e5, the critical line has to be g3. So after g3, I'm sorry, king h3. So after king h3, then what do we do? So this is the main line to calculate. If you couldn't find it and you post the video, try it again, guys. Bishop e5, king h3, what to do after. Okay, so guys, so that you know, I have been already here for easily 6-7 minutes, and I was calculating bishop e5, king h1, queen h1, king g4. Okay, let me actually, so bishop e5, king h1, queen here, king g4, queen g2, king f5, and I was trying to make this work. I looked at everything. So I just thought of, okay, what if after king here, check, king g4, I need to use the stepping stone method that we talked about. And the stepping stone method is we calculate a few moves in until we're comfortable. We still have that visualized in our head. But then from there, we try to treat it as if it were a brand new puzzle, right? If we can see that far clearly before it gets blurry. So after bishop e5, king h3, queen h1, king g4, I can update that in my head. I can imagine that position, and I already did 2 moves. So I'm looking for checkmate in 4, right? Now, at that point, my candidate moves one more time are queen g2. I looked at it. I just cannot make it work. What other checks do I have? Well, maybe the knight doesn't really make sense. This one looks like it, but the bishop is already there, don't forget. So that leaves me with rook d4, check. And they have the option to go to f3, go to f5, or put the knight in the way. Now, knight in the way is easy to calculate. We just take. But first, let me take a look at the other two. If they go to f5, I go queen b1 check, hitting the king through the diagonal. My rook is already here. Don't forget that. So with that check, they could block, but I just take. And then after king e6, rook d6 is mate. If after queen b1, the king goes to e6, well, the same idea. Rook d6 is check. Don't forget the bishop is here, the knight is here, and my king is controlling everything. Now, the only other variation is check, check, check. What if the king goes here? Well, the same idea. I go through the diagonal now, check. King has to go back to, no, this is checkmate. Actually, there's no going back. My bishop is over here, rook is over here, my queen is hitting it. Or wait. They can actually go to e3. Yeah. And then queen d3 should be checkmate. So I might be completely wrong, but you see, guys, again, I calculated, I visualized, and if you do this consistently, there's no way you're not going to improve, okay? So with that said, let me take a look at the answer. We have bishop e5, king h3, queen h1 instead. Indeed, king g4, and then rook d4. This is the move that I couldn't think of. I went automatically for queen g2, didn't work, then I look at it again. If I'm playing in a game, I need to exploit, I need to look at all of these options before I give up on it. So rook d4, and here's easier because we're not sacrificing pieces. So maybe in a game, I just, as I go, bishop e5, let me rethink about it again, queen h1, let me look at it again, and then you find your rook d4. But it's the same thing as the stepping stone method. So, oh, f4, look, I didn't calculate f4. Now, if they go king f5, queen b1 is the move, excellent. Then king e6, I said rook d6 is mate. Perfect. Now this one we said, I think I said this, and then it's mate, and then what else am I missing? If they go to f3, well, this is check, king e3, and then queen d3, and then lastly, this is a move I did not consider. That cannot happen. So with this move now, I think we just take on f4. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try. So let's try to do it in our head. So rook f4, king g3, rook f1, discover check, king g4, and then queen g2. Wow. Check, cutting off the king, and then this is checkmate. So guys, there you go. This in itself is going to be an excellent way to improve your tactics, but also your ability to visualize. Now, the only reason why we not only train with this kind of exercises, checkmates, is because we need you to get familiarized with many other patterns out there. But this is just for visualization. It's just great. This and endgames, perfect. Now, the next exercise that you see in front of you, this is checkmate in 9 moves. I'm not even gonna attempt it. I'm gonna leave it as homework. If you want, I know that you're not even gonna invest time, but if you do, one thing you could do is just look at the answer. If you want to work for it just for the sake of calculating, but then look at the answer to see what the engine gives and just try to run it in your head without moving the pieces. That exercise is going to help you a lot. If you find the answer, let me know in the comments, but the most important thing I need to know from you is at what level did you struggle, because that's going to give me an idea for what we're going to be doing next in this course. So with that said, guys, I will see you in our next lesson.